All right. Welcome to the Way to a Great Marriage Cast. I'm Tony. This is La Randa.
Hello.
And Loranda has one of her mother's songs, Omi's songs, ready for us tonight. And so she's going to sing or read that for us. And so here is La Randa.
Thank you.
And I'm lopsided.
You're lopsided.
It's gonna fall apart if I touch it.
Don't let it do that. Okay, this is written October 1991. God sent angels, not one but he sent two. He whispered sweetly, I will care for you. When you're lonely or often filled with fear, turn to Jesus, for he is always near. Lord, help us when we stumble and fall. We didn't ask for your help at all. If we would only think to stop and pray, our troubles and pain would pass away. In Psalms 91, God says to me, my angels have charge over thee to keep thee in all of thy ways. He said, thou shalt not be afraid. God sent angels.
Okay.
October 1991.
All right. And so tonight we're going to go back to, hey, Sissy, how are you?
Hi, Sissy.
She says hi, Tony, on the rundown.
Hi.
And so tonight we are going to go back to uh, looking at relationships. There is a Dr. Henry Cloud wrote a Boundaries book, and he wrote actually him and Thompson wrote many Boundaries books. And every time I get a Boundaries book, I loan it to somebody, and then I don't get it back. He wrote another book called let's see. Necessary Endings. I also loaned out that book and didn't get it back. So I don't have any of his books to show you. But I do encourage you to. I don't get paid to promote him, but he is one of our Celebrate Recovery gurus. He used to come. Sissy says, I love Boundaries books.
Yes.
And so he used to come to the Celebrate Recovery Summit and speak. He hasn't done that for a few years, but I've seen him and Thomas. They both used to speak. There is a boundaries.me that you can subscribe to.
That's what I've got.
I subscribed. I got it for LaRonda for Christmas one year. She didn't read it much or use
I
it much.
did read all of it. He didn't think I did, but I did.
He has a bunch of classes. It's like school. He has all these classes you can take on different subjects, psychology classes. And
they're good too.
And so that's part of my repertoire, I guess. But because I watched them all.
So did I.
In about 2018, probably. I said I would watch them while I was playing Fortnite. And so he sent me an email. Well, he's been building up to. He's having a conference in online conference actually that you can sign up for. That is going to be on the 19th of November at 4 p.m. On this subject, and so he's been promoting that and sending me emails that are teasers for it. But let's discuss some of these. The first one, the one that seems to be the one that stood out to me the most to realize what he was doing, was stopping a toxic behavior, the art of confrontation. I remember when I started going to church on the Rock, her cousin Mark, started saying, there is no such gift as the gift of confrontation. And I had believed, and I guess there's not a gift, there's an art to it. That I had, from the time I went from Liberty Avenue, it seemed like every church I went to, God would force me, put me in a situation where I had to confront somebody about something they were doing wrong in the church.
Yeah.
And
That's hard.
and how that they were doing some things like I've told you about. Angel Food is basically they were competing with Save a Lot.
Right.
They would sell boxes of food for $25 as supposed to feed you for a month, but it didn't. It mainly had gristly meat in it. The guy who owned the Angel Food Ministries, I say owned the 501c, the nonprofit. He had on the board only family members. He had the 501c buy him a private jet.
Oh boy.
And gave $600,000 to his church to build him a parsonage, and he was under investigation by the FBI, and it was taking up one Saturday a month that all the church would get together and volunteer to do this.
I remember
and then
that.
they would not do anything the rest of the month for anything else.
I was at Bethel at that time.
And and then I went from one church to the other, and things like this were happening. And
I can't do that.
And so I finally would go down there, and they started praying over people, and I started giving them tracts and pocket testaments.
That was
and
good.
Put those in the box. But there wasn't really any evangelism. There wasn't really any getting out the word. There wasn't really anything beneficial, other than it feels good to think that you're helping people, but you're really not.
That was not helping.
You're hurting them.
Yeah.
Telling them that you're helping them, but you're not.
Right.
And so I once had a client. He writes, we'll call her Sandy. Uh-oh.
It's not FCC. No.
Well, she's close to California.
I know.
He goes to the church there at Saddleback, and so.
Oh, okay.
Who was upset about her husband. When I asked what the problem was, she said that whenever she and her husband went out, he would stare at other women.
Uh-oh. Punch him in the nose. Punch that boy in the nose.
I've heard women say that, but I was thinking, that they were just being imagining things. They would say, well, the waitress walked by and he looked her up and down. It's kind of like, well, we ran into church. Somebody at church accused another guy of looking him up and down. I always thought that was just in their imagination.
No.
But so if a pretty woman walked by, he would all but fall out of his chair.
Hey.
Follow her with his eyes. Oh, you don't want me to look at that?
No,
over
no.
there?
You're out of the picture.
I'm almost falling out of my chair
I
trying to
know.
look at that woman over there.
But that's me over there you're looking at.
Oh, okay. Following her with his eyes, Michelle would feel ignored. I thought it was Sandra.
Sandy.
Okay, Michelle. When Michelle mentioned to him how uncomfortable his behavior made her feel, he tried to make it seem normal and sometimes even blamed her for it. So it'd be like, let's see. Well, everybody looks, honey.
I don't care who everybody is. Would you jump off a bridge if everybody else did? That's what parents used to say.
Well, it's your fault. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
What are you talking about? He would say. What are you talking about? I'm looking at her. I'm not looking at nothing.
Uh-huh.
I don't do that. Besides, if you would get into shape, maybe I wouldn't have to notice other women.
Ooh. Oh, gee.
Have you thought of that? Michelle ended up feeling sad and hopeless. Trying to talk about the problem ended up nowhere. So she had stopped bringing it up. But the night before she talked to me, something else had happened that brought the problem to the surface again. She woke up in the middle of the night and her husband was not in bed. Oh.
Ruh-roh.
She decided to go see what he was doing, and she found him at the computer looking at pornography.
Oh boy.
Now the looking at other women had gone too far. Okay.
Mm. He's really looking at them now.
Right.
Oh boy.
He felt she had to do something, but that their history of blow ups, let's see, but with her history of blow ups, she didn't know how to proceed. What do I do? Uh, we, uh, we asked. We asked? Okay. I told him that he was a pervert and that this is what I've been saying all along. I just told him I couldn't stand to be around him and went to bed and cried the rest of the night. I have been awake all night and don't know what to do. Have you talked to him since last night? No. I I don't know what to say either. I don't know if I am more sad or angry. And I just feel so worthless inside. What should I do? And I hear the desperation in her voice. Think for a moment about this question. Is anyone in your life doing something you would like him or her to quit doing? It is probably easy to think of someone who does something that bothers you. In fact, given enough time, you could think of more than one person. For most people, there are several situations in life where a relationship would go better if someone would stop doing a particular thing.
Right.
For others, it goes beyond thinking things would go better. It would mean a relationship or even a person's life would be saved. Generally, behavior uh, you would like stopped falls into one of four categories. If he stopped doing it, you could stop being bothered or hurt. Number two, if she stopped doing it, your relationship would improve. Number three, if he stopped doing it, he would be better off. Number four, if she stopped doing it, other people would stop being hurt or be better off.
If she stopped doing what? I don't understand that one. What was she doing?
We're doing.
Oh, if it was a her or if it was a
He
him.
is
Gotcha.
alternating the pronouns. So
Gotcha.
It
can be either or.
It's either
Gotcha.
or. Yes, like we do in Celebrate Recovery.
Yes, all right. Gotcha. I didn't know if I missed a part of the story. I was like, what?
If having a conversation with your significant other seems to end in a blow up, you want to address the issues that are affecting your relationship, and so that's where the cliffhanger is. Then he talks about uh, the uh, the workshop, and so we kind of know from experience. Um, you have to set boundaries. Where if you have to sort of give people choices and alternatives and that sort of thing. And so if somebody's doing something that you want to stop, you have to confront them. We've learned to use our I and me statements and to use our express our feelings to the other person. And so, if somebody's doing something, well, it talks about, to me, the most the most important one is the one where it could hurt them if they
As a couple.
will know the individual if they don't stop.
Well, if they don't stop, it's gonna break them up.
Well, no, you're thinking of this specific thing, but there's a plethora
Sure. Well, I'm
of
just
things.
doing that
I'm
example.
thinking of drugs.
Oh, yeah.
If he's
Well, it could be porn. It could be drugs. It could be anything.
I told you it could be a plethora.
Yeah, it could be hurtful to him, to her, or if it's not stopped, they won't stay together.
Okay, I thought one of these talked about it was a life or death situation, but
Yeah.
but it doesn't. But,
Oh, okay. I
but,
thought one of them did
but if
too.
we take a life or death situation, like somebody is overdosing,
Right.
then we confront them. We give them a choice. You can, if you want to um, remain in our relationship, then you need to go somewhere and get help. And if you don't, then there won't be a relationship.
Right.
And
We
so,
see that all the time.
right, and
You know.
and because lots of times people won't seek help.
Right.
Like um, we have a friend that recently relapsed. I told him
Yes.
he needed to go to rehab,
Yes.
and he sort of compromised into a inpatient IOP.
Yeah.
And that's what we see over and over and over again. People don't want to go to rehab,
No.
or they won't want to do what they need to do. And in this case, it might be that the guy needs to start coming to Celebrate Recovery. If you don't, start
Right.
going to Celebrate Recovery and get some help with this, then it's going to destroy us.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Is that?
Yeah.
And so that's the art of confrontation. I mean, the problem is lots of times we want to use our use and be accusing. I mean,
Well, so what about
what
when
I
we-
saw here was, she said, what did she say? I don't do that. Let's see. I remember
he was blaming her
Mhm.
because she didn't have the body that he wanted to look at.
Mhm.
So he was blaming her, but somebody said to me, shouldn't you love someone through the good and bad times, through sickness and in health, and whether they've got a 16-year-old body or not?
Mhm.
Should you not love that person? And so he was throwing that up to her. It was her fault that he was looking at porn.
Right.
He was blaming her.
And then she turns around and I told him that he was a pervert and that this was what I've been saying all along. I just told him I couldn't stand to be around him and went to bed and cried the rest of the night, and I have been awake all night and don't know what
Don't
to
know
do.
what to do.
Well, she, by calling him a pervert, she was guilting and shaming him, and that doesn't work. When you confront the person, you have to give them alternatives. You're basically saying, you don't tell them what a sorry louse they are. You're a drunk, you're a drug addict, you're not going to be anything but a drug addict. Get out of the house.
Right.
But you say, you either get some help or we can't be together
Right.
anymore.
That's right.
That's the boundary, and
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about, and that's what you do, is you set a healthy boundary.
Most women, though, don't want their man to leave, no matter what. Most women.
Right.
I'm not talking about
Right.
some.
It's probably devastating. Oh, I know it's just as devastating on the woman for
Yeah,
him to go to a rehab.
exactly.
Because she's losing his income and
Exactly.
she's losing him.
Him.
Because she's enmeshed. We've talked about the codependent nightmare that's going on there. I'm imagining there that she would have instead of crying herself to sleep, she'd rather have been with him
Exactly.
and comforted by him,
Yeah,
and that
she
sort of
would've.
thing. Instead of pushing him away, she would have
Drawed him to her.
she would have rather have brought him to her,
Yes.
but still setting these boundaries are important. Tough love is hard.
It is.
I mean, whenever, with my, own son to do that, to say you can't live here until you've gotten it. I thought it was too little amount of time. I said 45 days.
Yeah, that's not much.
I
That's
should
not
have said
long.
a year and a half, but until you've gotten a
Exactly.
year and a half of rehab, then you can come back and live with me.
Right.
But it's hard to, and he was homeless and that sort of thing. But tough love is hard, and that's
Very
the
hard.
hard thing to do. And confrontation's hard. Most people, they I felt like Mark kind of belittled confrontation, but it's actually something that's very difficult to do. Is to
Confrontation.
get up the nerve and the bravery. I mean, like with to confront the person about angel food. I mean, I felt like God was saying to me, if I didn't confront this person, that my mother would die, or in at the time, and I felt like that he was prodding me on, saying, it's that important
Right.
what you're doing.
Well, they were almost like stealing from people,
Right.
you
Well,
know.
it was.
So yeah,
And giving it to making this guy rich.
exactly.
They were acting as agents for this
Yeah.
shyster, this crook, and making in the name of religion, making this guy rich.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Right.
It's
And
dangerous.
well, I told her that she was turning the church into a den of thieves.
Yeah.
And
And Jesus would turn the tables
that
over.
was what God told me to do to confront her.
Yeah.
And that was difficult, and
Very.
I don't remember where I went after that. Was but it was just everywhere I went. I remember one church I went. The Sunday school teacher was pastor set me up and sent me down to the Sunday school class, and I told him about what the Sunday school teacher was teaching. He said, "Yeah, that's why I put you in there so you could straighten it out."
Oh.
Well, what they were teaching was that you could go to heaven. That if you died and went to heaven, God would give you a choice of whether to come back or not.
Oh.
As a Christian.
Ah.
And so, and I'd ran into that before, but
I ain't never heard
there's
such.
a lot of crazy things out there, and so I didn't confront him. I ran for the next several churches, and until from church to church, because every time I went to a church, or something pop up. Oh no, that's the next person I got to confront.
Yeah. Confrontation is not good. And as far as our marriage cast goes, confrontation between, like the story that you read there, you've got to be real careful about confronting one another with things. You can confront with anger. You can confront with. Cece always said that I was very diplomatic in my confrontations with things, and whether it be child rearing or problems. If me and Tony had problems or whatever, she said, "You're one of the most diplomatic people that I know." It's just like I don't like confrontation anyway. And if I do have confrontation, I want it to work out. I want it to, there's no reason why things can't be worked out between people, whether it's me and you or me and a friend, or, people go, "I can't believe that you'd be friends with them again." I don't like not having confrontation took care of. I like it to be taken care of, and sometimes the outcome is not what I would have wanted.
Charlie Dean said that 80% of the time it's like, and only 20% of the time it's going to turn out favorable.
Right. That's true.
They'll thank you for confronting them about the issue, and that
Right.
realize they're wrong.
Right.
And 80% of the time they're just going to be, you're going to lose a friend, or
Exactly.
you're going to upset them, or
Right.
tick them off in some way, and so.
But that can be worked out with your children, with a sibling. Me and my brothers had to work through things, in our lifetime.
And it may take, that's why I encourage people. Yes, Loranda is good at helping people work through confrontation.
Oh, thanks, Susie.
But, that's why, if you are not the addict, if you're the lady, you need to come to Celebrate Recovery. Then you have a support group
Absolutely.
that's helping you to kind of know what to say, and talking to you about that. You can have a sponsor that you can bounce stuff off of, and that sort of thing. And then you can to help you realize what's going on with this person, your spouse, or in this case, and then and then you'll maybe have a community where that if you needed to, as a group confront them, they do have, they call it, I forget what, interventions.
Yes.
Where that, they, you have somebody else in, we have people in the group that's, in our Celebrate Recovery that struggle with a
We do.
plethora of things.
Lots of things.
Whatever that maybe your spouse is struggling with, we probably have somebody in the
I
Celebrate
guarantee it.
Recovery that's struggling with that, and they can talk to the person about that with you.
Yes. Yeah.
And have been through it themselves and know how to and, not be giving them guilt trips and stuff like that, because the problem is guilt trips, like calling them a pervert, will just pushes them further toward the addiction.
Even though that might be the case that case,
right.
But still, she could have said, "I am scared for you. I am scared that you'll go and can't turn back, and you'll
using the I statement.
Yeah, I'm afraid that you're.
I feel.
Yeah. That's how she should have handled that. I'm scared that you'll never come back from it. And I know that you're a good person.
But most of the time, because she was sad and angry, she was hurt.
And hurt.
And she was sad and angry because she was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was probably some issues that she was having that she needs to deal with as well.
Oh yeah.
Especially because of the self-image that's maybe his fault, but she's having to deal with that.
She'll have to work through it.
She's gonna have to work through that
and
too.
I understand that, yeah.
And so that probably made her lash out and want to hurt him.
Sure.
With her words.
She wanted to punch him in the nose.
Instead of confronting him like you would.
Yeah, like I would.
Oh, honey, I love you.
I love you. Let's not do that no more. Let's not do that anymore. How's about it? Can we work through it? Can't we all just get along?
Right.
Please. So we can have a good, happy life.
Unfortunately, we can't all get along.
Yeah, no, unfortunately
That's
we
why
can't.
Paul said it is in the best of our ability to get along with everyone. In other words, that implies that in the best of our ability, there are still people we can't get along with. And so
What's this he say?
Sure, we already read it. No.
LaRonda
always maintains an even tone in her voice and a kind approach.
Yes, can't we work through this? I know we can. I got confidence in you.
Right. So I hope this was helpful.
Yeah.
There are a series of these that we'll continue on doing until I catch up with these. LaRonda would like to do. There is a love.
40 days.
40 Days of Love by
Let's
Rick
do it.
Warren.
Yeah.
And it's a small group study, and she'd like to do that. But these kind of ran across my emails, and I really didn't have time to read them. And I was like, maybe we will do this for the Way to a Great Marriage Cast. So.
And tell us what you think. And if you would like to do the 40 Days of Marriage, we would love for you to join us. And it's a wonderful study. And I mean, every single time I've ever read a book over and over, you learn something different. So, but that was really good. I mean, it could really help a lot of people.
Yeah, I really like Dr. Henry Cloud.
I do too. I like him too.
He's a great psychiatrist, and learned a lot from him.
And he's a Christian, isn't he?
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
He's a Christian, yeah.
Yes.
He's all about using God to heal, heal marriages, to heal, a mom and a daughter, a dad and a son, or vice versa. He's really good at that kind of
and like
psychology.
I said, I don't get paid for any of this, but you can't go to Boundaries Me and sign up for the workshop and participate in that as well.
I took the classes.
Sound up for Boundaries Me.
Yeah. I think it was $79, wasn't it?
No, I think it was.
I thought it was $79. Seems like I thought it was.
Yeah, probably, because I'm thinking it was like one time I thought about signing up for a lifetime membership, and it was I went to sign up, and it changed the price as soon as I went to sign up for it. Perhaps another time you can talk about confrontation that is not as desperate, things that are just annoying,
Yeah, that's a good idea, Sissy.
right?
What annoys us,
Like
you
the
know,
toilet paper on the hanging the wrong way
over.
and under.
Or, yeah, even if your spouse is sitting doing this and they don't pay attention.
Or the dog is barking on the porch.
Yeah, like he is right now.
Are they on the porch?
They're on the porch,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That's what's they're barking.
Yeah, they're
at,
barking
okay.
at the outside dogs. So, but that's a good idea,
But
Sissy.
usually things that are annoying, I mean, you can talk about them, but you know, like the toilet paper issue. I mean,
It's
we
funny.
live with it. And
We live with it.
and make fun of it.
He takes it off, puts it on. I take it off and put it on.
And I've just learned to go roll the whole roll out on the floor, and then I got plenty of
Roll.
I got plenty of toilet paper. Where, you know, if it was under, I could just yank it, and I get about 3 sheets.
But now I want to tell you, I'm gonna be a little bit transparent with you all. You know, me and Tony's worked through a whole lot of things about me, things about him. We go to CR. We was going to CR 6 times a week when we first got married. That's been years ago, almost 5. And we've worked through a lot of these things that we're talking to you all about. So it's not like, oh, we've not ever dealt with anything. No, we've dealt with a plethora of things, me and him, as any couple does. So don't think you're the only one that is going through things. And that's what we're here for. We want you to ask us questions, and we'll open the Bible up, see what the Bible says about it.
She said, yes, some annoying things you learn to live with.
Yes.
And one of the things I was thinking about tonight, you know, we were at WLJC tonight, and Dottie didn't introduce me to her husband. And some people that annoys, you know,
Yeah.
if you're the husband and people don't
Yes.
introduce you to people you know. And so maybe Dottie didn't know my name either.
She didn't.
And so,
I bet you she didn't.
So I asked her if that was her husband. She said, yeah. So we've been together 52 years, and I've just stopped introducing him to people. But I have had people, you know, confront me, you know, say that really embarrassed me that you didn't introduce me to your friends, and you know, it made me feel left out.
Well, if you don't introduce me to somebody, I go out and go, I'm Tony's wife. I'm Loranda.
You know, and so that's something that annoyed them about something I did, and they expressed, you know, that bothered them, and so
like you were ashamed of them or something.
Right, that I was ashamed of them, or that you know, or that I was making that not important, or.
Well, I have never felt that way. Sometimes you just start talking to people.
Well, I mean, different things annoy different people.
Yeah,
it may
exactly.
not annoy you, but it might annoy somebody else.
I have wondered before why you didn't introduce me, but it didn't annoy me.
Right.
You know. So I just go up and do it myself.
You know, I try anymore to make a point to introduce.
You always do this with my wife.
Know the person's name. Like,
yeah.
I usually don't know the person's name.
Now listen, I never introduce if I don't know.
It starts with a T. What is their name? T something. This is Loranda. Loranda. This is T something.
This is my friend Loranda. I don't know their name, but they're my friend.
I grew up with them from from childhood.
I've done that before.
They lived across the street with me, and I played with them every day.
Can't think of their name. But I loved them as a kid.
You know, I guess that's one annoying thing. You know, maybe I would think, you know, like tempers. You know, we discuss. You know, I-75. Everybody agrees that it's you can't get on I-75 without losing your temper.
Oh, I can. I don't have road rage.
Yeah, but most guys can.
Most guys do.
Most guys.
And you guys are scary when you do.
Between here and Lexington.
Oh my goodness.
It used to be down South Highway 27, or there in front of Fayette Mall.
Yes.
You know,
Fayette Mall is terrible.
Just those kind of places, you know, and so I don't know.
Guys have more road rage than women do. There are some that do, but Mostly it's a guy. It's a guy
And it
thing.
doesn't help that Mark would admit it from the pulpit that
He
he
does.
had rose rage. I mean, that
And
just
Chad
made me
too.
feel more, apt to have it.
I'm just like, I always say, get out of the way. I mean, I'm like, just move, move out of the way. You guys are like, honk, honk. I know I don't have a problem with it. I got a problem with a lot of other things, but not
So
that.
I just let her, my thing is I'll just let her drive.
Sometimes he lets me drive, yes. So that if we're doing that, but does he
If
say
it's not
something else?
a night. No, she already said
Oh, okay. All right.
So maybe that gives you some ideas
Sure.
of some things that are annoying.
And that's what we're doing is
Or maybe, that you're running 15 minutes behind because you're putting your makeup on.
this is true. That's a little annoying for you.
But
For me, it makes me feel
I've
better.
lived with it. I just go out and wait in the car for you.
My dad used to do me and my mom like that
your
too.
grandma Burns. Now,
Like Grandma Burns.
I'm tempted if I had another car, just to go without you and you can drive yourself.
No, don't go without me.
I'm leaving. If you want to go with me,
I'll put my makeup on in the
or you
car.
can drive by yourself.
Cece told me just to do cheeks and lips and then go on.
Me and Braden tell you don't
I
need
know.
it. I tried to get her to leave her makeup kit at WLJC tonight, but anyway,
He
it
did.
didn't work. I'm always trying to get her to leave it somewhere.
No, and I don't
Or
wear that
donate it
much.
to
Look,
somewhere.
I don't wear a lot. Just a little bit to paint the barn. J. Vernon McGee said a woman needs to paint the barn.
I know.
Yeah.
But with
Just
me
a little-
and Braden don't think you need it. So. You
I
have
appreciate-
admitted that you do it for other women.
I do.
That you don't do it for me.
No.
You do it for.
So they don't think I look bad.
Yeah. Exactly. So those are some things that
They
we,
are.
annoy each other, but we just kind of learn to.
We go on.
To I guess the serenity prayer, change the things you can, live with the things you can't, and know the difference.
And there are not a whole lot of really important things anyway. So
Yeah.
in the scheme of life,
We just laugh at each other.
we laugh all the time.
And so, Terry says that's not solving problems, but to
Oh,
us, to
is that
us,
Terry? Was she on there?
she's
Oh,
not, but in the past she said
she did.
that doesn't solve problems, but to us,
To
it
us,
does.
it does. Yeah.
And, and that's the problem is a lot of people are offended by laughter, and then that they're snipping in the bud the ability for them to enjoy each other.
That's mine and your time.
Smooth off the problems that they
Exactly.
might be having.
I mean, we've had some really strong disagreements and end up in laughter after we've discussed them because, laughter is good for the heart. I mean, the Bible talks about,
Yeah.
it's good for you to laugh and
We'll be fighting, and you'll say something, and all of a sudden both of us will
start cracking up. And they're like, "Oh, that's so silly."
But anyway.
But now, see, we're airing our things to you all, so you guys will have to ask us questions that you have, and I love it. I love this format. So
Okay.
we've read 2 really good books: Mom Ball's book, and then Sissy's book, Sandra Carlson. 2 really good books in a row about someone's life and their marriage and their children and grandkids, and so so now this is just a little something different. And then I really do want to do the 40 days of love, so we'll do that. We may do that starting in Valentine's or something, in February. We may do that in February. That's a good thought.
Well, we'll do these until I finish them up, and then we'll
Okay.
decide what to do after that. But
That sounds good.
unless somebody has a question that
Yeah.
we can make a podcast out of.
Please do if you have questions, and it's a question that we can make a podcast out of. We will. We'll look up scripture and things like that for it.
So with that, I encourage you to subscribe,
Please.
not only here but also on Rumble.
Who's ready to rumble?
Power on.
We have 748 subscribers here.
Yay!
We've been going up and down overnight. We got up to 149, then we went down to 147. Now we're back up to 148.
Oh,
So I don't
good.
know what the challenge is
Views,
doing today.
148.
No subscribers.
Oh, subscribers. Gotcha.
Yeah. And so then over on Rumble, we have 11 subscribers. We picked up one. So we do want you to move over there. I was listening right before I came on. Subscribe. I subscribed on Rumble. Thank you, Sissy.
Thank you, Sissy.
And so I was listening to a podcast before I got on here. How the YouTube as well, they restrict the channel if you put stuff on there that they don't like. Of course, we're always putting stuff on here that they don't like
because we're Christian.
We have gotten a warning for pharmakeia already.
Yeah.
That says will stick with us for 6 months.
Yeah.
So we're probably restricted, but it kind of blew up over. You know, we had we got another 100 views on that one video. It's got 180,100 views.
Wow.
Last week, but now the excitement's kind of over.
Right.
And so I appreciate the thumbs up. I assume the like came from Sissy. We have 11,500 likes.
Yay! Thank you all.
Comment and ask questions. We have 519 comments. Like I said, if you ask a question that is good enough, we'll make it a whole waycast. And then share. There's 3,600 shares. We have pinned to the top of the channel the Against All Odds. I believe that's a great evangelistic tool. And so we'd ask if you're probably thinking of somebody right now that doesn't know Jesus as their personal Savior. So we ask that you share that with them, but pray for them first, that they'll be receptive to it and that they'll watch it completely. And so with that, we say...
And you didn't say hit the ding-a-ling.
Hit the ding-a-ling in your life so you can
Yeah.
get notified the next time we're live, so you can come on and harass us in person.
Yes,
the bell
please.
down below.
Yes.
And so then with that, we say...
We say...
Good night, until we meet again. Adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, till then.
And oh, it's always sweet sorrow to part.
You'll know you'll always remain in my heart. Good night, sweet night. But the best of life is the wish and the prayer that every dream comes true. And now till we meet again. Adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
We love you.
And don't ever forget, you are truly loved. Good night, Sissy. We love
Good
you.
night, Sissy. We love you.
Dan's Dairy Half Hour Show, hit songs and fashions.